Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. It's Stu here, hope everyone's good. And today we've got a piece of news to go through. So what I'm doing here is something that I'm calling Stu's News. And I'm taking the biggest articles of the week, or not on a weekly basis, just if there's any big news that I fancy talking about. And essentially I'm breaking it down for people to summarize, chat about, comment on, give opinion, and basically discuss what's going on, really. Just really start that conversation. So, in today's Stu's News episode, I've got an article here by Windows Central, by Jez Corden, actually, at Windows Central, who's the managing director. So, in the news this week, essentially what's going on is there's been some talk and some drama around a certain game not releasing on Xbox. This game is essentially it's a new game called Baldur's Gate 3, and it's a Dungeons and Dragons D&D style RPG, turn-based strategy RPG game, role-playing game essentially, and it's getting huge results on things like Metacritic, reviews from streamers, reviews from the media, and just like general people as well. It's got some really good reviews basically, and it's blowing up the gaming world by storm. And this is essentially a game that's been in development for ages, and fans of the franchise have been super excited, and then like loads of new people, including myself, have never heard of it, are just like, oh, this game sounds awesome. And when you read up on it, you're like, wow, yeah, this has got game of the year potential, even in a year like 2023 where we've had some absolute bangers. Um, but there's been a bit of an issue. Unfortunately for us guys or anyone who plays on Xbox, is this game hasn't launched or isn't launching in the next month or so onto the Xbox. And apparently, what the issue is something called a feature parity clause, and that's what this article by Jez Corden goes into. And it's a really good article because it explains a lot. Essentially, what the feature parity clause is like I had to look it up myself and actually find out what it meant. But essentially, if you've got an Xbox Series X, which is your entry level into this generation of Xboxes, and you got the powerful version, the Xbox Series X. According to Microsoft, like they have a clause in place that if a game comes to the Xbox, then all the features in the game must be available on both consoles. And when I say features, I don't mean things like performance or graphics quality. I mean like core features like campaign, stories, multiplayer, local multiplayer. And that is the issue here, apparently. So the issue here for this game has been they've not been able to provide local cooperative split screen play for this game on the Xbox Series S, which then has resulted in it not coming to either because of this parity clause. Bit of a weird one. It took me a minute to get my head around, to be honest. I was like, why? I've not got Series S, I've got Series X, so I didn't realise this parity clause was in place. But essentially, if we go through the article here, um, this article describes basically a bit about what Baldur's Gate 3 is, etc. I suggest reading the article if you want to go into detail. But I'm going to call out some of the key bits here is Baldur's Gate 3, the game in question, or the game that sparked this news, is essentially a mystery when it's coming to Xbox. And it hits the PS5 next month. And like I said, it's that feature parity that's apparently to blame. So initially, people thought that the it was just the classic Sony had paid loads of money to get it on their consoles early or have it exclusive for a year, But then people started to notice there wasn't actually a release date, because normally when that happens, normally if Sony are like, oh no, it's exclusive to PlayStation, it normally says for like a year or something, or fully exclusive. But that wasn't the case, and the developer didn't say anything either. So everyone was just a bit like, well, what's going on here? So people were tweeting the studio, the media were like asking the studio, what's the problem? And they basically came out and said it is because of this parity clause. So they basically, in a nutshell, essentially blame the Xbox Series S for the fact that it weren't coming to Xbox at all. And they were blaming Microsoft for having this clause, which we'll go into whether that was the right or wrong thing to do. What this article does really well is basically it breaks down the problem, which we've gone through, which the problem is being that feature clause, which essentially then people are getting worried that is this going to be a one-off issue, sorry, or is this going to start to happen more and more because of the Series S? Are we not going to get new games or like next generation? I'm doing quotation marks. Next generation games on the Xbox because of this clause. So there's been a lot of people debating on both sides, saying essentially it's the problem with the developer. They should just suck it up, make the game work on all platforms they're releasing on. Some people are saying it's Microsoft's fault because of this clause. Some people are saying, well, the console's not good enough, etc., etc. But essentially, there's loads of detail here, so it goes into here. In this paragraph we've got here is split screen, goes on about what the issue is with the split screen, etc. But we won't go into that. Like I said, suggest reading this article if you want more detail. But what's really good is it goes into solutions. Before we go into like the possible solutions and what I think about it all, is this top bit here. So the developers like Larian, they're not building the games from the ground up for the Series S. So they're going to target the biggest audience, basically the PS5s, the Xbox Series X's, the PC, which is essentially it's launched on already. And what this article is saying and what people are saying is how do we stop this happening in the future? Because this has been done now, so we just have to kind of accept it that it's not going to probably be on the Xbox until next year. But yeah, it raises that question of, well, we don't want this happening again, do we? We don't want this happening all the time. Or are we, like it says here in this title, is it even a big deal? Or are we just over exaggerating? Well, let's go through these solutions that Jez Corden's put on here. Again, I've always broke this down really well. And essentially, and then I'll discuss what I think, because I actually think there's more than the three solutions he suggested here. I'd love to know what you guys think in the comments, etc. as well. So please just drop what you think the solution is, or what the issue is, or just whatever you guys think. But solution one was do nothing. Microsoft keep the parity exactly it is. They keep their clause, they do nothing, they stick to their guns, and they just take it as, look, Baldur's Gate 3 is going to be a one-off. It's a very technically advanced game. It's a very high-performance game. Let's just take a hit. We'll try and fix it for Xbox as soon as we can. I think this is probably the solution that's probably going to happen the most from Xbox side of things and from official sources and from people who can actually make a difference, not just me just chatting about it on the internet. Essentially, yeah, they could just do nothing. They've got a lot of focus around a game called Starfield coming, and I believe that they probably won't do anything to change this clause. Their focus at the moment, especially, is on Starfield, and they're going to want people to point towards that. So I don't think they're going to put that effort in. It's an interesting solution, and I think it's probably the one the corporate world's probably going to go down. Let's do nothing. It's going to cost too much. Blah blah blah. I think they said they're going to help Larian Studios, like with porting it onto Xbox and stuff. They're sending some people to help them, but I don't think there's any like big rush to get it out within like the next month because, like I said, that I think all hands on deck for Starfield, which we should all be absolutely excited about. The second solution was better tools, better documentation, and better support for the developers, which they've kind of, in retrospect, they've done. Like I just mentioned, they've sent a bunch of people to support with, or they're going to. I think I can't remember if they have or if they're going to, but send a bunch of people to support with the development cycle of like porting it to the Xbox Series S and the X. Um, Better tools, yeah, I agree with. Microsoft could provide better tools and better support. However, developers will know. I think it's a bit different with this game because it's been in development for so long. But if you're developing a game like from today, let's say, or from last year even, or probably even the year before, you know there's a Series X, Series S, and a Series X. And probably people in the industry already knew that this clause was a thing. Like if you're speaking with Microsoft, you're saying, I want my game on Xbox. One of the first things they're probably going to say is, well, it needs to be on Series S as well. So better support. I'm not sure about this solution. Can it? Can you give better support? Yeah, you could probably say, well, here's like a documentation or developer kits or whatever. I don't know how to build a game. They could support in that way. Whether they think I think they will, I don't know. I think they'll try and make it easier for devs because in the past a lot of devs have said, oh, Microsoft tools for developing games are actually really good and are really user friendly, etc. etc. So I'm not sure what more they can do here. Um, like it says here, he says like Jez, obviously he's got all the insight. I've been told Microsoft generally has good developer support, but perhaps more could be done here. Okay, but if it has good developer support, what more can actually be done? You don't want to be hand holding all the time, etc. Because it's just you might as well just buy the studio yourself and just develop the game yourself. So I'm not sure about that solution to be honest. But again, prove me wrong. Someone drop me some facts and tell me to shut up. Solution three. So this one's interesting. I don't know why there's like a big hairy belly on the left on the outlook. No idea what that is. I don't know. It's putting me off though. Get rid of that. Ditch the parity clause, especially for split screen co-op. I I like this idea, to be honest, because quite well. Question to everyone and question to myself is: I pay for a cheaper, less powerful box, which is an entry level into Xbox and into gaming, etc. As a consumer and as a player, would I expect then every game and every feature to launch on the series the same as the Series X? Personally, I wouldn't. I've paid less, and I'd kind of expect less. I think it's great that they're trying to. It's absolute result for people with Series S's. Um, they get a taste of everything. But if I myself personally to buy a series, if I bought a Series S instead of an X, and there was some big like intensive game coming out, would I expect all the features? Probably not. If they said, "Oh, let's launch the game," but on Xbox they won't have split screen co-op. Personally, I'd be fine for that. To be honest, like bearing in mind, to be fair, though, I'm not someone who uses split screen co-op all that often, but I'd rather have the game on the Xbox is and rather everyone on Xbox being able to play it than not because of one feature. It just seems like they're trying to obviously help people with Xboxes, but it's just gone the complete opposite way of, well, now we ain't even got the game at all. So this is what this solution is about. It's like ditch the parity clause and change up the rules around Xbox of, okay, not every feature has to hit. We'll take it case by case basis, depending what the feature is. Like if it was campaign or multiplayer, for example, probably two of the biggest features on a game. It's literally the thing you buy the game for. If say multiplayer is missing on a suit, then yeah, fair enough. Like no, that's not acceptable. But a thing like split screen co-op, I'm not sure. I think Microsoft can be a lot more lenient here. So there were Jez's like three possible solutions. He gives a bit about his opinion as well. He goes, personally, he thinks split screen co-op really niche, which I totally agree with him as well. Dropping support for this makes sense. It's not the right thing to do, but it's such a big game, and you want people to be playing that game on your console. So, and he said exactly what I've just said here. People would rather play Baldur's Gate 3 without split screen than just not play it at all. So, at the start, I said I think there's a 4, and what I think there is, and let me see if I can even remember what that was. To basically, yeah, number 4. Stop. It's kind of like option 3. So don't delete. What am I on about? Don't complete. Instead of, what did he say? Let me scroll it back up. Yeah, ditch the parity clause, especially for, instead of ditching the parity clause for features, I'd even go to the extreme of ditching for a game, ditching the clause for a game. E.g., treat the Series S. People with Series S's here, you're probably going to kick off and be like, you're totally wrong. But again, it's just my opinion. Is does every game on this have to launch on the Series S and the Series X? I don't know. Because like I said earlier, I'm paying less, therefore I don't expect getting exactly the same stuff as the Series X, apart from more memory and 4K and stuff that a lot of people won't even look into. So again, I'll go back to, if I was to buy a Series S and they said Baldur's Gate 3 is not launching yet. Now that's a key word, they're not launching yet for the Series S, but we're going to release it on the Series X. Okay. And I said, why? I said, because split screen of the memory, etc. We need to optimize it. We need to do all this to it. But you can play it on the Series X, and then it's on Microsoft. Microsoft are going to help us get on the Series S, yada yada yada. And I'd be all right with that, though within reason. No, you don't want it in every game, which I understand is what people will say who own Series S's then. Oh, but we'd never get any new games, etc. That's not the case because at this point in time, we don't know how big of an issue this is. But yeah, so I think almost treat it like a last gen. They're doing that now with Xbox Ones and PS4s. They're now going more exclusive to next gen or current gen, and then sometimes they launch it later, sometimes they don't, which we don't want for the Series S. But and no one really seems to bat an eye about that. But yeah, maybe it's a mixture of solution 3, which is ditch the parity clause and break it down case by case basis with features, or ditch the parity clause on a total game basis. So launch Baldur's Gate 3 on Series X, but not on Series S. One to chew on. Still one to chew on. Still one I'm fully debating. I'm not 100% sure what Microsoft will do. I think going back to solution 1, they won't do anything. I think they'll just help this developer get launched, and they'll just take the next case and see what happens. But if this keeps happening again and again, they're going to have to do something about it. Whether that's option 3, ditch the parity clause, or whether it's being even more extreme, or whether it's just providing better support and trying to push that clause again. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. I'm interested to hear what other people think about this, and not just angry bots on the internet saying, "Oh, it's all Microsoft's fault. They're going to go bust," and all these dramatic tweets and all sorts of stuff, which is just ridiculous. I want to hear genuine people's opinion, what they think about it, and especially Series S owners. Series S owners, I want to know exactly what you guys think about this situation. Are you worried it's going to happen more and more in the future? So, yeah, interesting topic. But that's what I wanted to go through today on the news. I thought that was a big article to discuss, and discussing it for quite a while. Like I said, drop some comments, reach out, hit that like button if you like this video, hit that subscribe button, and you can, it really helps my channel, and you can see my other content, my other news contents. Not only do I do news, but I do streams and reviews and something called Game Pass Exploring, where I look into Game Pass. But essentially that's it for today, guys, and yeah, it's been fun. Good topic, and keep smiling. Let's just play some games, eh? Awesome. Bye for now.